Welcome back to James Parker Sculpture. In this video, by popular demand, we take a look at dust masks, why they're needed, the various options, costs and the practicalities. I want to say right at the beginning, there are no paid endorsements in this video. I just want to share the benefit of my experience and hopefully keep a few of you safe. The sun is shining outside, so let's make the most of it and get out of the workshop for a chat. So first of all, the reason I thought I'd make this video is that I obviously work with stone every day. I started working with stone about 13 years ago full time, and way back then no one was around to give me any advice. I didn't learn from anyone, I just made my own mistakes and learned by trial and error. And one aspect of working with stone is of course learning all the intricacies that you need to be able to create the work that you do. In my case, sculpture. You might be working with wood or something else, but one of the most important things is being well kitted out in order to protect yourself from all sorts of health and safety risks. In almost every aspect of my work, whether it be shaping stone, splitting stone, sweeping the workshop floor, or shaping a piece of wood to make a stock for a sculpture, every aspect creates dust. Now if that dust gets into your lungs, it just rubs away like sandpaper at the tissue in your lungs. It creates scar tissue, and basically it leads to silicosis in the end, which will ultimately shorten your life. It's a dreadful disease, and it's important to do everything you can to absolutely try and avoid that. To keep myself fit and healthy, I've got to take it very seriously, and the biggest thing I can do to protect myself, my health and my lungs is wearing a mask. It doesn't matter how much I clean the workshop floor, there's always going to be dust around. And I thought by making this video, it might help you guys understand why I wear a mask, what the risks are, and maybe help you choose which mask you want to wear if you're thinking about taking up sculpture professionally or even as a hobby. It is so important to look after yourself. I ought to say right at the beginning that everything I say in this video are just my own opinions, things I've learned myself through experience and through trial and error. And hopefully by passing on what I know to you guys, I can save you some of the struggle in trying to collate all that information and make a decision yourself. So essentially what I would say is that masks, in this case I'm going to talk about working with stone. They're split into three different categories. First of all, you have your disposable mask, where the entire mask is just something you wear and then throw it away. So here we have one of these disposable masks. This probably costs about £1. I know that you get slightly stiffer ones, perhaps with a slightly better seal around the edge that you can buy, which may cost up to about £10. They have a steel strip here, which when you put them over your face, you pinch it around your nose, and that's supposed to stop the dust getting in around the edge. From experience of wearing these way back when I started, when I didn't know any better, I would wear this, go home at night, and I would have two marks here where basically the air that I'm inhaling is sucking in the dust particles from the air around about me, and no doubt I'm breathing some of that in, which really isn't very safe. So what I would suggest is that instead of buying one of these, wearing it and throwing it away, you either don't bother buying one or buy it and then throw it away. Just don't wear one of these, don't put your health on the line for 50p. Here we have a Force 8 mask. This is a mask made by JSP. This mask cost under £30. It's got two disposable filters here, and when you think that that mask before, which you would have to throw away every day, cost about between 50p and about £10 for a slightly better one, and that's a disposable mask. This is something that I've had for a few years, and I've had to change the filters, of course, probably every 4 or 5 weeks. It actually probably works out cheaper than the disposable mask. It will keep you so much safer. Here you notice that it's made of a sort of silicone, and it really fits your face much better. When you put this against your face here, You really feel as though no air is going to get sucked in from around the sides. Also, another thing about this mask is it's so much more comfortable than the disposable masks. I can wear this for 8 hours a day, no problem at all, and it doesn't get itchy like the disposable ones. When you're working, you don't even want to really be conscious of wearing a mask. You just want to put it on, forget about it, and get on with your work. One thing I would say with this is that there's quite a lot in front of your face, so you do sometimes see these out of the corner of your eye, these filters, which can be a bit annoying. Once you get used to it, it's not so much of a problem. Another really good benefit of wearing a mask like this with these particular filters is that when you put this on your face, you can press these filters in like this, and then you take a deep breath of air, and you shouldn't be able to suck any air in. Basically, you're closing the filter, so that is just a check to make sure that it is sealed well against your face, and then you can rest assured that it is doing its job. I've taken one of these off after a few weeks of wearing it, and just out of curiosity cracked one of the filters open, and it really is incredible how much dust they catch. And it does make me think of all the times that I've worn a paper mask, which really was a cracker's decision at the time, but I can remember thinking after cracking this open, you know, what on earth have I got inside my lungs? And as you get older, you have children, you've got responsibilities and whatnot, and you just start enjoying life, and you think, what a silly thing to do. So if you're either a DIYer or you just do a little bit of stonework now and again, or cut the odd block if you're a builder and you're not cutting stone all day every day, then I would suggest that this is a really good choice. They're made by various different manufacturers. As I said, this is JSP, but you also get them by 3M and all sorts of other companies. What I would say is that rather than waste your money on paper ones and not really know whether they're doing their job, just spend a little bit more and get one of these. Finally, moving on to the mask that I wear now. So as you can see, just from the initial appearance of this mask, it's a much more substantial piece of kit. There's quite a lot of technology involved in it, and it really has changed my confidence levels in the fact that I am keeping myself safe and doing the most that I can in the workshop, keep the dust away from my lungs. So this mask is made by Sundstrom, and I'll take you through what's involved in it and why it's so good. First of all, a bit like the second mask I showed you, the facepiece is made of silicone and it forms a really good seal against your face. You can actually go and get a face fit test as well, just to make sure that it is keeping you safe. One thing that you have to do is make sure that you're clean shaven. So if you're not someone that has a shave every day, a lot of these masks won't be right for you. Basically, you don't get a good seal against your face. You can get this mask with a head top, which means it's got a visor and a hood that goes around your neck. Now the main way this mask differs from the other masks that I've shown you is that the other masks work under your own breathing. So when you breathe in wearing the other mask, then obviously you're sucking the air in through the mask or through the filters, and obviously that requires some amount of exertion, where if you're wearing a mask all day, every day in a very dusty environment and it can be hot and uncomfortable, then it's not the most pleasant thing to wear. This mask, however, has its own power system here, which sucks in clean air, delivers it to the front of the mask, and when you breathe out, the air is then dispelled through these valves here. For added comfort, you've got two straps which you pull tight, one around your neck and one over the top of your head, which you'll have seen in my videos. This sits on the top of your head, and unlike a lot of masks where it's just an elastic strap, you've got this piece of rubber here, and it's the small touches that add together to make a big difference. This really stops the straps from slipping about on your hair, and it just makes it so much easier to wear. Here we have two protective covers either side which keep the diaphragm underneath nice and safe so that they don't get damaged. You can see that when you breathe out, this valve here opens and the air is allowed to escape. These valves really are quite fragile, so it's important that these are fitted at all times. So this is worn over the face. The tubes come either side of my neck and down my back into this power pack here. Power pack has two filters. The air is drawn in through here, and of course because it's behind you, the idea is you're hopefully getting some air which is slightly cleaner from behind you for a kick-off. These two canisters here are each made up of two filters. In below the cover, we'll just remove that here. We have a paper filter here which can be removed, and I change those every couple of days. These cost next to nothing, so it just makes sense to change them. So this sits in here and goes over the top of the main filter here. This filter screws off, So inside here you can see that it's made up of a paper filter. When this is screwed on, it sits against this gasket here and provides a really good seal. So I'll put this back on here. This mask is really versatile. It comes in all sorts of different formats, and this one is actually made up with a configuration of an SR900 mask, but the power pack is an SR700 pack. So I've used this mask, I've slightly changed it in order that I don't have to wear a visor. I wear glasses when I really have to, and the rest of the time I like to have nothing in front of my eyes so that I can see exactly what I'm doing. When this mask comes to me, it's basically got one of these canisters fixed at the front. I imagine that might be slightly trickier to use. Again, like the second mask, I feel like the filter probably gets slightly in the sight line. I quite like the way this sets up. You remove the filter from the front and then you fix this on here, which means that you can have these two tubes sitting where the filter would normally be. In order for the air to be delivered to this mask, you have to switch on this power pack here, which then sucks air in through these filters and through the tubes and delivers it to the mask. And hopefully in this light you can see still that there are 4 lights came on here initially. There's a battery light on the left together with a warning triangle which should extinguish, it just has done, and then a small fan here. If I press this button here again, if I wanted more air, then a larger fan light comes on here and you can hear that it gets slightly more powerful. And then to switch the unit off, I just press this button again, hold it in for about 2 seconds, you can hear that the fan switches off. A few really good features of this mask and power pack are that if these filters become blocked, then the red warning triangle comes on and you can hear an audible beep, and that will tell you that you really need to stop what you're doing, get into some area where there's no dust, switch it off and then change the filters. We can actually simulate that by switching this on. You can hear it powering up. Now if I put my hands over the filters here to mimic a situation where the filters are blocked like this, you can hear the fan starts to work harder and you can hear a constant beeping sound which will tell you to vacate the area and do as I said earlier on and change the filters. And another useful feature is that when the battery begins to run low, I think it's when it gets to about 5%, the power pack of course is behind you and you can't see the lights. You'll hear 5 beep which will tell you that the battery is running low and you need to put the battery on to charge. Of course you could let the battery run down and continue wearing it, but you would be drawing the air yourself through the filters rather than it being a powered system. Depending on what environment you're working in, that might be a problem. Or on other occasions you will see me changing back to the JSP Force 8 mask. I have had that question before, why are you not wearing your sort of all singing, all dancing mask when you have it available? And the reason is I've only got one battery. The battery which sits in here runs for about 8 hours. It's quoted as being 8 hours in the book. I've never found that I've actually got 8 hours out of it. I often work about 10 or 11 hours in a day and it struggles to cope with that. So usually what I do is put it on. If I am doing a long day, then generally I'll stop for quite a long tea break in the afternoon, and if I put it on then it'll give it time to charge up a bit to keep me going to the end of the day. These things are very expensive, and again that's one of the reasons why I didn't plump for one of these when I just started out in sculpture. This cost about $1,000. Here in the UK I think it was £830. If you're serious about doing this long term, then something like this really is an absolute must. Consumable parts to think about are paper filters in behind here, which generally change every couple of days, and these canisters ought to be changed every 4 to 6 weeks. So I think I've pointed out all the main features of this mask. I really do hope that helps you. You might be watching this video just because you're quite used to following my channel, or you might have looked up a video about dust masks and what's going to be right for you. Either way, I hope you found it interesting. You'll either understand why I wear them now, or if you're looking to purchase a mask yourself, hopefully this is a good insight and it helps you make the right decision. I'd like to thank Al Spence at Dunedin Stone who suggested I get one of these. He's a fantastic stonemason and he's absolutely right. It's a fantastic bit of kit. I don't regret it for 1 second. So often you buy something and you think, what did I waste my money on that for? But this is not one of those times. Now, as I said at the beginning, these are just my opinions. I hope you find them useful, and do let me know in the comments if as a result of this you go and buy one of these masks, and let me know how you get on. Now I've pretty much exhausted everything there is to talk about masks and respirators, so I'm going to put them away, get them packed into my bag and climb to the top of this hill. It's not going to climb itself, and I've come this far so I can't go home and tell Leslie that I didn't get to the top.
So I trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too.
If you enjoyed this video, then please do me a huge favour and give it a massive thumbs up. And be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. I hope wherever you are in the world you're safe and well. Have a fantastic week, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon.